Welcome into your tiny reading for this week. I am T from Tiny Divinations, here to break down the cards with you. So, as usual, we have three different piles. Pick the pile or piles that you are drawn to, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome in pile one. The pile that you chose had sixth chakra, third eye chakra, acknowledge spirit. This card is actually your words of wisdom for the week, so we'll get back into that later. Let's start with some energy of your week. So the cards that we have are family and storyteller. What story do you tell yourself about this area of your life? Where does the story originate? And what meaning do you make of this? So some of the energy that may be at play for those in pile one is having to deal with family, family coming up, being around family, chosen family, friends, being around people who feel like family, being in spaces that feel comfortable, finding people who feel like family this week. There may also be something around your identity and your family, like the identity of your family, the identity of who you are in relation to your family. It could have to do with like learning things about um, the past or like information about your family in terms of the storytelling. You may be interested or be currently doing research, like ancestral research. You may find something this week, something may come up in terms of that, like information that you may find out this week or conversations that you have with family. It may also be something that comes up with you specifically, like I said, something to do with your identity, something to do with something specific about who you are in relation to your family that comes up where you have to kind of answer these questions. There may be things that are keeping you stuck or like things that have been ingrained in you as a result of your family. Or things around your family, like where you grew up, the religion that you grew up in, things like that, that may be affecting you this week. That may be a part of the questions that we need to ask ourselves, or this may be happening for people in your family where they're questioning their identity or wanting to learn more about the people around you or getting information and wanting to share, or some of the other things that I talked about. So this is a little bit of what I get from these cards. Let's get a few more cards and actually pull some charms for your week. Okay, so first let's get some cards. Okay, so some of the other cards we got for the energy of this week, we have wandering. What are you feeling? So some of the other cards that we have for this week, we have wandering and we have silence. Wandering. What are your feelings, beliefs, or stories about the act of aimlessly wandering? So again, we have the like, what are your feelings, beliefs, stories? You having to like take account, figure it out, sit down, really think about something, right? How does this give you important insight into thoughts and patterns that are keeping you stuck? So there's something about thoughts and patterns this week that we're looking into, that we should be looking into, or that are coming up for you, whether they're about yourself, about where you originate, about your family, or about wandering, being aimless, not having a schedule, not necessarily, being in control, being in flow, and like what comes up with those things. Okay. Then we have silence. Where is there just too much noise right now? And that doesn't have to be literal noise, right? Like it could be energetic noise. There could be like, different things happening. It could reflect in different ways. How can you bring more silence into the space where you are questioning? What feelings and associations do you have around silence that need to be worked on too? There may be people who feel like they're aimlessly wandering. You may be feeling like you don't know where you're going, or you're not sure what's going on. You may be feeling like you're kind of losing control and things. Um, there may be things that come up when you do these questions that like are really the thing that you need to sit with, that like are at the root of it, that you recognize are a problem because like asking these questions on its surface may not seem like things are going to come up, but then as you dig into it, you may find things, right? And then in terms of the silence, it feels like I said, this could be either all of these things individually, or these could be these things coming up together for people right now. I've been saying to like my friends recently in conversation, I feel like the past 2 weeks, it's very interesting because my energy and the people around me that I've talked to, like our energies have been very open, right? And so even, I mean, I'm, protection queen, baby, but the energies are very open. You're very susceptible to like other people's energies or to your gifts or your clairs or your sight to be like exponentially better or more powerful than it normally is, or to just be affected in different ways. Like I feel like our antennas are really up right now, okay? And so you may need to work on silence because you're just intaking too much energy, or too much of other people's emotions or feelings. And part of you needing to silence or rebalance is so that you can like recognize what you're intaking. For some people it's a matter of being able to like get to your own thoughts, because it feels like there's too much noise in terms of what you should do or what other people think or other opinions, and you can't really know what you need to do because you got too much shit going on around you. So it feels like either one of those, or a number of those things, or any of those things could be what it is, but it could be, like I said, the individual things separately, or it could be a number of those things together. So this is what I'm getting from the cards. Let's move to the charms for a little bit more of the energy of your week. Okay, so we have our charm bowl. If you've been here before, you know I'm gonna shake the bowl. It's gonna be a little bit loud. I am going to stick my hand in. I'm not looking. I pull some charms, and that is what we get. So let's shake it up. So we have the Aquarius sign on the zodiac dice, or die, I should say. We have a snake, a heart with an infinity sign, a bull, a shark's tooth, the sun card, the wheel of fortune card, and an apple. So, for a little bit more into the energies of your week, there's definitely transformative energy. You have a snake, you have a butterfly, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is like a change of fate or a change of destinies. So, for some people in pile one, there's definitely some kind of change that's happening, that's coming, that you may see. It may be big or small, but it may definitely have to deal with the transformation that you are making or need to make within like yourself or your location. The change may have to do with something that you've been wanting, something that makes you more free, something that makes you more successful, something that brings you to like another level of elevation, because we have the sun card here. The change may also have to do, or the transformation may also have to do with your health, okay? Because we have this apple card here, it, it's card, excuse me, charm. And because you have the bull under that, like the change may have to do with your health, and it may have something to do with something that you've been like stubborn about changing or really fixed about, that you need to change, because in the Wheel of Fortune card, there are like the fixed signs on each side. Also, because we have a number of like zodiac symbols, there's energy in your week for like these specific signs to play a part in your week, whether that has to do with the family that we talked about before, or they're related to the stories that we're digging into, or to the change that we have coming, or to just like being integral or like important parts of your week. Okay, so we have the Aquarius sign here. We have the bull, which could be related to Taurus, or which is related to Taurus, I should say. We have the sun sign, which is related to Leo. So any of those signs could also play a part in your week. We have the shark's tooth over here on the side. And so the shark's tooth being close to the sun card in terms of success, to me suggests that like if there are people that are specifically trying to get things done, or people that are trying to um, do something successfully, or you're thinking about starting something this week, or like this is the energy that's around you right now in terms of like success, expansion, freedom, doing your own thing, embarking on your own things like that, you need to buckle down. Like the shark's tooth to me is given like bite down into what you're doing. And you need to like sink your teeth into your shit. You need to really like dig in. And so figure out what you need to do in terms of your schedule, or what you need to do in terms of like keeping yourself focused. Maybe you need to shut your phone down. Maybe you need to put your shit on do not disturb, or you need to like turn off um like the some of the TV that you're watching, and put on music instead, or like find different ways to really like lock into what the fuck you're doing. It feels like it's important this week, and with this next to the sun card, it definitely feels like it could be successful, and it could help you either transition, excuse me, or it can help you fully move into your transformation, or it could do like something in terms of helping you to like move forward or be free, or like to like fly on your own kind of thing. So that's what I'm getting with that. And then with the heart and the infinity sign, it felt, first of all, it felt very ancestral, and specifically tied to what we were talking about in the first energy cards. Like never ending love is also like the idea of what I was getting from it. So there may be like a continuous like love energy or continuous support energy that you're receiving this week. That may be something that comes up within the questions that you're asking yourselves. There may be like ancestral ties or connections that, or ancestral energy that comes through very heavy this week for like in general, or a specific ancestor. um it also may have to do with like you continuing to like work on loving yourself. There may be like some, you may need to get back into it, or that may be what you're doing, and so it's like validating you continuing to do it, and like it's continuous, it's constant. You're just need to continue to build yourself up kind of thing. So that may be what that has to do as well. So that's what I'm getting from those. Let's move on to some specific things that may happen this week. Okay, so get into some more specific things that may happen for you this week, pile one. Okay. Volcano, elixir, tree, belonging, perspective, skull, and rabbit. Okay, so we have volcano, elixir, tree, Janet Frame, belonging, Gertrude Stein, perspective, skull, and then rabbit. Okay, so with the cards that we have, some of the specific things that we may have come up this week, we may have some disruptions or eruptions. We may have some things like blow up, or come out of place. You may blow up. There may be people that are more aggressive. There may be some things that change and take shape in a different way. With that, next to the perspectives, part of what may be changing or change shape is how we see things, or how others around us may see something. And it may be completely different than the way it was seen before. You may get more information. You may just have a change of heart. You may be able to sit with yourself and see something different within it. And by itself, we have Gertrude Stein perspective. So it may be specific things that may happen this week, may be about. Then we have Gertrude Stein, with the perspective card that we just talked about. And there may be things that you need to reframe. There may be perspectives that you need to change. Part of what she talks about is love. Her wife is in the picture frame. So there may be perspectives that you have about your relationship, about the relationships of others, about relationships in general that you're working on that need to change. There's something about like freeing your thoughts, that you have like this feather in the cage here. So there may be something specific that like your mind has changed this week, or where your perspective is changed by something specific this week. It may have to do with love. It may have to do with like old thought patterns, because you also have the cobwebs and the spider web going around um, the um, the frame as well. And next to that, you have the skull. So we had the transition that we talked about before. Part of what may be changing maybe your perspective, part of what may be changing may have to do with your perspective changing and that being able to change your circumstances or your opportunity, or it may come after something changes in terms of being blown up, right? We then have elixir, and the elixir, the first thing I thought of was having to like suck it up or deal with things that you may not want to deal with, right? Or to take something, just have to like take it down and just deal. And so that may be part of what comes up this week. You may have things that you have to just like deal with or just kind of do that you may not want to do, that you may not like, that may not have been your choice, but like it's short, you'll be able to like take it down and get through it. Like that's kind of the energy that I feel like comes out of the elixir. It may be for some people that you need to like, or you will be letting loose, having a good time, going to have some drinks. Um, uh, there's also something about like making concoctions. I don't know if people are like making their own juices or making your own teas or making teas or juice or like putting things together or juicing or like something that you wouldn't normally do or getting back to or like something like that. But like that's also there. So that to me is what comes up with the elixir. We have the tree and then the skull and the rabbit. So there's things multiplying this week. There's things being birthed. There's changes happening. There's transitions happening. There's things ending. There are things that are growing roots. There are things that are losing their leaves in a sense. So like they're transitioning and like they're not may not flourish the way that they used to, or they may be like a dying thing and you're transitioning out of that space or phase. But again, we have the rabbit here. So even within the people that are actively transitioning and moving into different phases and spaces, or the people that are going through changes in different aspects, there's still, if it's a loss in terms of change, or it seems like less or lack, or your brain goes to less or lack, or you like fear that, there's the rabbit next to it, right? So there's still this energy of multiplying. There's this energy of things being birthed. There's this energy of things maybe moving quickly or coming in fast. Okay. So don't be so scared of the change or transition that is happening. Also, the change and transition that's happening, either it's happening for you to be able to plant roots long term, or for you to be able to sit in the thing that's going to be able to be a good foundation for you and really grow in the ways in which you want it to. And or we have the energy of you being somewhere where you're not going to grow, where things aren't going to flourish the way in which you want them to, and that's part of the transition and the change in the end. Okay, so that's part of what comes up to me with especially these three cards in this kind of line together. And then you have Janet Frame and belonging. Specific things that come up about being yourself this week, like we talked about with the storytelling, the story that you tell yourself, who you are, understanding the parts of you, coming up with the things that you want that will make you feel like you belong, that help you get to the level of success that we were talking about before, what success would even look like to you. Some of what also comes up with Janet Frame in this card may be um, like people's mental wellness this week and dealing with people's mental wellness. It may also have to double down on like the family card, or excuse me, the family topic that we were talking about in the other card, and like belonging, where you fit and belong in your family, um, who your chosen family is, what that looks like, how that plays a part in your life, and who you are and who you're becoming, and like all those things there. So it feels like these are some of the aspects that come up that we had in the energy that come up very specifically in the specific things, to just double down as to why that energy is a part of the week that we have this week. So this is what I'm getting from the specific things that may happen this week. Let's wrap your reading up with your words of wisdom. Okay, pile one. So your words of wisdom from this week come from the chakra wisdom cards. You have sixth chakra, third eye chakra, acknowledge spirit. I trust in a higher source, and I acknowledge my direct connection with it. In the stillness, I listen for the wisdom inside, and I am open to the spirituality that is within and all around me. I know that love is the creative force. I meditate and welcome mystical truths. I am open to seeking guidance in my spiritual quests from a spiritual teacher, master, or guru. Okay. So, working with your third eye, acknowledging spirit, working with spirit, asking for help, asking for a teacher or master or guru, or information to be shown to you and guided to you are all things that could definitely help you this week. So this was your words of wisdom, pile one, and this was your reading for this week. Thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Please let me know how this week is. Please let me know how you are feeling this reading. Share it with somebody who needs it. If you would like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you aren't already following the channel, follow the channel. Follow the podcast, Tiny Musings with T, and get our monthly collective readings. You can follow on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And follow me on TikTok and on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. Again, I'm so appreciative of you being here with me. Let me know how your week is. Let me know how this resonates. If you have another pile, I will see you there. And if not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in pile two. Let's get into your cards for this week. So, the pile that you chose was first chakra, base chakra, patience. This is actually your words of wisdom for the week, so we'll get back into that later. Let's get into the cards you have for some of the energy of your week. So, the cards we have are Consider the Source and Spirituality. So, starting with Consider the Source. You are receiving strong messages from someone. How is what they are saying uniquely connected to who they are and what they're all about? Do you respect and admire their choices and behaviors or not? Consider the source of these messages as you evaluate them and decide how you want to relate to and learn from them in this moment. So, the Consider the Source card to me, in terms of energy for your week, definitely has to do with paying attention to the things people say and what they don't say, right? Paying close attention to the messaging. Communication will be very important this week, whether it's how you're communicating with people and how people are communicating with you. Paying attention to how people speak to you, how they speak to other people, how they talk about themselves, and what that then means for how they see themselves, how they move throughout the world, how they may interact with you. Considering the source in terms of information that you may receive that's new information. Considering the source if you're, listening to gossip or like rumors or things like that, and maybe either not taking it as seriously as you would, or in the other hand, taking it more seriously than you might from somebody else, depending on who's giving it to you. Also, with Consider the Source and the initial talking about you're receiving strong messages, I talked about it in pile one. There is, I feel like, and I've talked to a number of people this week who have also said they're really energetically open right now. And so I feel like, in terms of receiving strong messages, you may be receiving messages from outside of yourself, right? So, like, you may be receiving messages from your spiritual team, or like from the universe. There may be signs and omens or signals, or you may receive messages through your clairs that you need to pay attention to and decipher this week. You may need to communicate those messages. There may be different ways in which your spirituality comes into play in terms of communication this week, in terms of like maybe you praying more, or you doing some kind of working that requires you to sing or talk. Maybe you're chanting. There also is something to do with, like, if you're intuiting spiritual information or finding spiritual information, again, take it to your people or take it to your altar. Don't just do shit based on what other people on the internet are telling you to do, or what somebody else may mention that they do. Like, make sure you take it to your people and like talk it out and see if this is how you should do it, or if you should do it at all, or things like that. So those are some of the things that come up to me in terms of these two cards. Let's get a few more cards to see a little bit more of the energy for your week. Okay, so we're going to get a few more cards for the energy of your week, and then I'll also get some charms. Okay, so the Rebel and Metamorphosis. The Rebel: where are you following rules you don't care about or really believe in anymore? metamorphosis. You've changed. How? What needs to happen so you can accept these changes and thereby bring movement into this area of your life? And then the sidekick. Who is waiting to help you here? What must shift in order to receive this help? So, um, up here, starting with the rebel, I feel like there's energy this week for you to kind of want to color outside the lines, for you to not want to do what's prescribed or follow the rules or regulations or do the things that you've been told to do. And that for some people may be a change from like how you normally are, or how you might normally be in that situation, or how you might normally feel. It feels like I'm a little bit more wild, or like I want to let loose more this week. I kind of, or either that, and or it's like this attitude of like, I just don't give a fuck, like I don't care about this shit, I don't give a fuck, I want to do what I want to do type shit, you know what I mean? Like that's part of the energy that comes up as well. Then we have the sidekick card. And so there may be like a partner in crime for you this week. There may be somebody that's integral to your week. You may be doing a partner project. You may need help. You may need to call out to help. You may call on somebody to vent to, or to talk to this week, or to like lean on this week. Um, they may also be part of what helps you shift. There may be somebody that's giving you advice or telling you like, hey, you've been too rigid, or you've been too conforming. You need to kind of like let loose, or like somebody that's like helping you bring in more of this energy, or somebody that's helping you bring in change energy, or helping you cope with the changes that you may already be dealing with. So that's what I'm getting from these cards. Let's pull some charms and see a little bit more. Okay, so if you read with me before, you know that we use the charms. The charm bowl is a little loud. I shake it. I put my hand in. I shuffle around for some charms. I'm not looking. I pull them out, and then we get what we get. So, oh, somebody popped out. Okay. Okay, so we have a shark's tooth. We have a coin. I call that my Remic coin. We have two different hearts with the sacred heart. We have the love potion bottle. We have an alien charm or a skeleton, depending on how you see it. We have the moon and the skull. We have the green, pink, and white charm. And we have a key and a spider web and a spider. Okay, so in terms of the energy this week, we definitely have like this the hearts, the love energy. So there's this energy of either dealing with love or love being a part of the week. We have the cross in this heart specifically. So I feel like there lends to the spirituality card that we have, like that spiritual connection, the cosmic connection, and that specifically dealing with like love, support, balance, bringing love, helping you to feel love, showing you ways of love, showing you ways of protection, things like that. Outside of that, like I said, we have the three hearts. So there's definitely like love energy in terms of you either dealing with love in terms of relationships, people you love, having a lovey dovey scenarios happen. If you are someone who is dating and you're meeting people, be mindful of who you are letting in. This is my Remic coin. And because it's so close to these hearts and that damn shark's tooth or fang, you know what I mean? However you'd like to see it, that's all very sinners to me. Okay. So just be mindful of the people that you are letting into your space, into your life. If anything seems out of place to you, if anything seems too good to be true, if anything is given any Remic ass vibes, you know, they ask you, can they come in? No. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So outside of that, the rest of the energy. Also the love potion and the skull with the moon charm, for whatever reason, it made me think, be mindful of the things that you're drinking this week. Like somebody may drink something that makes them sick, or okay, so then that made me think of roofying. So like either one of those things, especially with these little dot things being over here, right? Like there's energy of either people getting overly intoxicated or people getting sick from drinking something. Like I don't know, it's like a potion and like it's not poison, but it's like it feels like along those lines, like poison light, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be like food poisoning, or like somebody trying to slip something in your drink, or like getting too drunk, and then that causing you to be like um super aggressive or emotional, or you know what I mean, like in a like an overwhelming kind of way. You know what I mean? So like we want to keep that shit together. Okay, we want to be safe. We want to keep it together. So like, be mindful of this week. Don't leave your drinks nowhere. Don't take no drinks from nobody. Don't let Remick ass give you no goddamn drinks, bitch. Okay, listen. Anyway, okay. Then go into the like the skull alien kind of thing. This on top of the Sacred Heart again led me to like that connection. So you may receive information like, or like you may have spirits connect to you. You know what I mean? Try to connect to you, try to reach out to you, try to talk to you, or they move something in your house, or they make a noise, or you see a shadow, or like something like that may happen this week, right? Where it's somebody trying to like connect with you or to give you information or something like that. We also have the key above that, so it's like I feel like I said, people are much more open this week. Like the connection with the other dimensions or the other sides, however you look at it, is very open, and it's very fluid. So I feel like there are people that are definitely going to hear things, see things, receive things this week. And so be open to that. Put in your protections, of course. Um, know that you're protected, right? Call on your people to protect you, but also be open to what comes through. Don't be scared. Write the things down. Ask for help from the other people that we got, like in the sidekick card. If you know somebody that has information, or somebody that can help, or somebody that goes through those things as well. Okay. And then we have the spider and the spider web. And because that was so close to the fang, again, it was given this energy of like, try not to get caught up in things this week. And that could look a number of different ways, right? So like, try not to get caught up in things in the sense of like, don't go into some shit, or be involved in some shit that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Because then you might wind up, you know, in a stickier situation. Try not to like pay attention to things. You know what I mean? So like we were talking about over here with like the weirdness of people trying to slip things, or do things, nefarious things over here. You know what I mean? The caught up in the web thing may have to do with just being like too naive, you know what I mean, and not paying attention, and getting yourself caught up in a situation where you like should have paid more attention, or you should have asked more questions, or you should have went with your gut, you know what I mean, or something like that. So like that also comes up to me. But yeah, I don't want to like, they're not all super heavy, but these are like very specific things for maybe very specific people, and so I want to make sure that I put them out there. And then we have the green, pink, and white charm here. And this was giving very spring. It felt like AKA colors that may relate to you somehow. It was giving like ice cream. It feels light. It feels fresh. It feels like heart, very heart space as well. And we have all these heart cards on here, so there may be something to like working with your heart chakra, moving through your heart space. There may be like emotions that you're moving through this week. There may be days or moments when you're crying, or when you're having emotional moments with other people, or emotional moments that unlock something for you. So these are all the things that come up in terms of the charms that we have. Let's move into some specific things that may happen this week. All right. Moving into some specific things that may happen this week for pile 2. I'm using the Literary Witches Oracle. Okay. Okay, so we have Angela Carter, Identity, Eileen Chang, Fate, Shirley Jackson, Family, and then we have the Boar card. So this is interesting. These are very interesting cards. I know we're asking about specific things that may happen. I want to just, so specifically, these, like I said, are very like semi heavy cards. I feel like number one, definitely put your protections up this week. Okay. we have the spirit come out of the pipe, so there's definitely these connections with the other side, right? Like I talked about. So you definitely will have moments where you connect with the other side, where you have something like otherworldly happening. That because it's in the pipe, there may be like things that happen if you smoke, if you are somebody who smokes, if you like, whether that's like cigarettes or weed or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? It may even be like you smoke cigarettes, you go outside to smoke and you see some shit, you know what I mean? Like that's a thing. There's an element of like femininity to this week, so like women may play a major role in your week. Feminine aspects may play a major role in your week. um there's this energy of like shock that comes in with the family card, where it could be like um, something that is unexpected, or especially something that happens like at home or with your family or around your family. There could be energy specifically around your house this week in terms of like you needing to do things around the home, or things coming up around your home, or things being particularly like energetic, or like a lot happening around your home. There's like an aggressive energy to these cards as well. We have the boar at the back, so like you may be having more arguments at home this week, or there may just be like more like loud energy in a sense, or like lively energy. And I don't mean like literally loud, I mean like energetically it's like, ugh, you know what I mean, like it's loud. um, we have with the Angela Carter card. Like I said before, be mindful of people trying to like take advantage of you. Excuse me, take things that are not theirs. People trying to like charm you, or um, you know, like a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know what I mean? Like just like pay attention to people. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like something like literally physically harmful or negative. That's not what I mean. But I mean like there may be people that are trying to like get you in some way, or people that are trying to finesse you in some way, or like take something from you, or that will do something that will be detrimental to you in the end. You know what I mean? um so just be mindful of all of those things. Also, if you are somebody that's prone to be um more aggressive, especially when you are emotional, especially when you are kind of like out of alignment. Be mindful of your attitude and demeanor this week. I feel like I've said that the past couple of weeks, but I feel like some people may be just more like, you may just be more on edge, you know what I mean, than you normally are. Like this, when I first saw this, the the picture to me looked like she like knocked the shit over and was about to push the chair back from the table and hop up, on some like, what the fuck? Like, like, and not like scared, but it felt like she was the aggressor almost, So like be mindful of that as well. Let me pull a few more cards and see if there's anything else that comes up for this week. Cause I know that was a little strange. Again, we have the moon in the background. So there's and the darkness in this card. So there's definitely some emotions coming up this week. There's definitely some shadow aspects that come up this week, that may stem around your family, or where you grew up, or like the people you grew up around. So if you were drawn to pile one, as we talked about family there as well. So and then house is on the bottom. So again, it may have to do with your house. It may have to do, like, I feel like these are themes that'll come up this week: your house, your family, domestic partnership, moving, things like that. And again, because we have the boar next to it and these like more heavy energied cards, it may have that kind of tone to it. Also, what I want to say before I move on, Angela Carter identity card, like you decide what happens, who you are, what shit is, right? You juju your days, your weeks, you juju what the fuck happens, and you are able to juju what the fuck happens. So take shit into your hands, right? Like this card also made me feel like, with this week, don't allow shit to just happen to you. Like you dictate what happens to you. You take the bull by the reins, or the horse by the reins, or whatever the fuck that saying is, and you like decide, like, okay, tomorrow this and this is gonna happen, or I'm gonna call this in and that and that, and you know what I mean, and like be very direct about what you want, and the things you want to happen. Okay, let me see if there's anything else that's kind of fell out. What's this? Sylvia Plath, The Dark. Yeah. So there are definitely some things this week that will come up that we have to sit with. Some things that may be not so pleasant or things that we've been pushing down. There may be things that are oppressed, things that are causing us physical ailments because of the emotional things that we need to deal with. That may look like shakes, tremors, seizures, like nerve issues or pains. That could look um, like acne or like cystic acne or like things like bubbling up to come out type of thing. But that's kind of the energy, or like you know how if you have anxiety and you have panic attacks, it feels like people like trembling or things like that. But that stemming from something needing to come out of you, or something repressed that you need to sit with and deal with or heal. You know what I mean, or something like that. So um yeah, the bottom card in here is the lion. So again, like I said about try not to bite anybody's head off, but also like you are stronger than you think you are. You can make it through whatever. You are the apex predator this week. Like sit in that energy. You are not the bunny, you are the apex predator, you're the lion. Okay, so like sit in the energy and the power and the strength that you have. So this is a little bit of what I'm getting for you for this week, y'all. I know that was a little bit all over the place. Very interesting. I feel like it will resonate for people. So please come back and tell me how that works. But let's wrap up your reading with your words of wisdom. All right, y'all. And your words of wisdom are first chakra, base chakra, patience. As I observe in nature, growth takes time. This is a time for reflection, persistence, and surrender as things unfold at their own pace. I remain calm and tolerant during any challenging times. I develop quiet hope and expectations based on trust both in myself and in a higher power. And I feel like that wraps up our reading really well and just brings in a number of different things we talked about and puts them into 4 lines. So that was your words of wisdom this week, pile two. And this was your reading for this week. So thank you so much for reading with me, y'all. I appreciate y'all so much. I know that it was a little bit different. I know it was a little bit heavy. I don't want y'all to be scared. This is just information. Please let me know how this week is for you. Please let me know what happens. If you would like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you're not already following the channel, follow me here. Follow us on Tiny Divinations on TikTok and on Instagram, and follow the podcast Tiny Musings with T to get our monthly collective readings and all the other episodes that we do. You can listen on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Substack, or wherever you listen to podcasts. So thank you again for reading with me. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, thank you. I will see you in your next reading. Welcome in pile three. Let's get into your cards for this week. So, the card you chose is second chakra, sacral chakra, reward myself. That is actually your words of wisdom for this week. So, we will get into that later. Right now, let's get into the energy for your week. So, the cards you have are overwhelm. How are you hiding from overwhelm? How are you hiding inside overwhelm? In each case, what are you hiding from? And then you have sex. How do your beliefs, feelings, and needs around sex interact with your thinking here in terms of overwhelm? What can this teach you that will help you to move forward in the ways you seek? And I only say it has to do with overwhelm because that came out together. These could be very much separate, but like the way that I saw these cards when I pulled them, there are people that have way too much going on. You've been doing way too much. There's a lot on your plate. You've been inundating yourself with too much, like whether it's hiding from or inside of overwhelm, right? There are a lot of things that you are having to deal with, you're having to do, you're having to decide, you're having to adult on, okay? And the sex card to me, in terms of how do your feelings and needs interact, has to do with release, okay? And has to do with the ways in which you are able to release, rest, recharge, regroup, um, within dealing with the things that overwhelm you. Okay. And so, like, yes, this is for this week. And so this may be very specific to this week, but I also feel like this may be like an in general or for the past few weeks or months thing as of right now, in terms of the people in this pile and the things that you're kind of having to deal with. And it may come to a head this week. But for some people, you've been dealing with overwhelm. You've been not finding ways to release or to feel good or to feel pleasure. And so it feels like it's like converging in a way this week. So, yeah, this is what I'm getting from this. Let's get a few more cards in terms of the energy for this week. Fun, right? So part of the energy this week is needing to have fun. We have sexuality again. So we need to find some alignment. Part of what happens this week is that there's energy around um, either finding a break and alignment with the overwhelm or the task that you have to do, feeling overwhelmed, and that forcing you to have to find a release. Um, for some people, that release specifically being sex, and that being what you need. You need to be touched. You need to be, loved on. You need to have the physical and emotional aspects of it, and or you need to like sit with yourself and like take your mind out of things and do you with you know what I'm saying? Like either way, part of where like I said, the sex comes in is the release of it and the fun aspect, right? Because again, there are people that have been we've all been dealing with a lot. There's a lot going on in the world. You don't have to be physically doing things to be feeling overwhelmed, right? With your emotions, with other people's emotions, with the things that are coming, with the things that you just like went through or had happen. You know what I mean? Like you could be overwhelmed by a number of things, but there needs to be a joy. It's joy and pain, sunshine and rain. You know what I'm saying? So we need to bring in more of the joy and the sunshine because there seems to be more like rain and pain, you know what I mean, and overwhelmed than there is release and fun and the balance of the things. You know what I mean? You can't take care of everything and everyone if you're not taking care of yourself. And part of how you need to take care of yourself is to breathe, is to release, is to have fun, is to get out of do mode and work mode and mommy mode or daddy mode, or you know what I mean, whatever mode it is that you're in. Another card that we have here is the future. So I feel like also, and then home life is on the bottom of that. So I feel like also part of what comes up this week is like you needing to figure out how you add in more sex, or how you sit with your sexuality, or how you move in the ways in which um, you want to feel sexually but you don't express, or the fun that you want to have and how you can bring that into your home life, or how that can correlate with your home life in the future, or how you can move into having more of these things and less of this in the next week, month, years, whatever that is. And there are specific things that people are like looking into, thinking about in terms of the future that will allow you to have this. But for some people, you're allowing that to even overwhelm you, and it shouldn't, right? That's not the point of this. We got to back up for a second and just take it out, take it to the fun, take it to the release, okay? So that we can have, again, a more balanced way of looking at things, or a more balanced way of doing things, um, to even be able to make like more balanced decisions or more aligned decisions for the future. Okay, so let me get some charms and see a little bit more about the energies y'all got going this week. Okay, so we have our charm bowl. I am going to shake. It gets a little loud. I apologize. I'll stick my hand in. I will pull some charms out. I will not see what we get, and then we will get what we got. Okay, so we have a snowflake, the Pisces sign on the zodiac die, a black button, which reminds me of the sphere, a camera, a cat, and the strength card. So my first thought when I saw these charms is that you need to be um, like light and fluffy, or like a snowflake to the bullshit of your week, right? Or light and fluffy no matter what happens or goes on, right? Like go with the wind, let it carry you. Don't let anything like hold you down or make you too heavy. You know what I mean? Like move with as much lightness this week as you feel like you're able to. Okay, like that's one of the first things that came up to me this week, especially because you have something as like light and airy as a snowflake. You have something light and airy like a feather, um or a leaf. This could also be a leaf. You have the Pisces energy, which is more um Neptunian and dreamy and you know um airy in a sense, and then you had that strength card. So like there are a number of things that made me think that like if even if the week this week is like stiff as a board, you should be light as a feather. I don't know if y'all remember that game. I am a millennial. Okay, so that was one of the things that came up to me in my head. There's also energy this week for you to the cat made me think of like a cat having 9 lives. And like I said, regardless of what happens, allowing yourself to float through it and be um agile and receptive, because like you'll have another life in the sense of like if something happens this week, it's not the end all be all. It doesn't take you down. You can bounce back from it, and you can bounce back probably pretty quickly from it, if you're moving in this mindset, okay, or you're not holding on to anything. One of the other things that I thought of with this kind of looked like the sphere to me. So if you're somebody that's either going to Las Vegas, you live in Las Vegas, this is validating for you. You're thinking about Las Vegas or going to something at the Sphere, like going to a show in Las Vegas, like that's validating as well, or that's coming up as well. So you may want to go look into that or buy those tickets or something like that. Like that, I don't know why this looked like the Sphere to me, but it very much was very specific. I've never even been to Vegas. Okay, so let me put that out there. But it was very, very specific to me that it came through that way, especially with the camera on the top. Um, there may be something else in terms of a vacation that you may want to take as well, because I thought of the sphere, and that is like a way to me, like in a different place to me. So it may also be that you're thinking about taking a vacation, or you're having to go somewhere, like having to travel sometime soon. Um, and it feels like, again, flow, don't be as aggressive. Like the theme of your week is like flow and soft and steady, as opposed to like hard, fast, aggressive. You know what I mean? Like that's not the energy of this week. Okay. And then with the camera, I also felt like the camera and the snowflake, because we moved into spring as of when I'm recording this. It made me think of reminiscing. It made me think of like going back over things, or like looking into things that have happened, or revisiting the past, or revisiting specific things, or having memories come up, or like finding pictures. But it really felt like more like flashbacks to me as well, of pieces of things, or having pieces of things come back to you. And so that may be specific to somebody that happens this week. So these are some of the things that I was getting. Also with the snowflake, the snowflake, there's the energy of being able to clear shit out, or like I said with the cat, being able to kind of come back from something that happened, or have a clean slate. This may have to do with forgiveness as well, or starting something new, or start like restarting something again from like a new place or a new energy. So this is a little bit of what I'm getting from these charms and what we get for the energy of your week. Let's move into some specific things that may happen this week. Okay, so moving into some specific things that may happen this week. Start with the book. Peacock and house. See if there's anything else. Belonging. Okay. So we have the book, the peacock, house, Janet Frame belonging, and glove. So with the book, I think that there's energy this week for people to, of course, receive information or knowledge, but more so for me with the book, I feel like this may be a long week for you. Like it may feel like um, the week is just going slowly. When I look for clarity for what the book was talking about, I got a snail. So I may feel like, or it makes me feel like this week may be a lot to get through. It may be long to get through. There may be days that feel very long. It also made me feel like you want to take your time this week. Some people may want to take their time this week. You may want to make sure you're paying attention to every detail and you're capturing things so that you don't miss anything, so that there isn't information that you're supposed to know or that you should have or that would help you get something done, that you don't miss. Like you don't want to skim through shit this week. That's also what this made me think of. Then we have the peacock and the glove. I feel like very dainty, very dressed up, very showing yourself off. There's people who should or want to like dress up. You may dress up more this week. You may put that shit on. You may want to show yourself more. You may be more interested in like individualizing your style or showing your individual style or preference. There's people maybe shopping or like accessorizing or like it just feels like you're kind of wanting to show off yourself. There may be people around you who are showing themselves off or wanting to be seen, wanting to, like I said, individualize themselves or show who they are based on their style. And like kind of just and like I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross is singing in my head right now. Like that's part of the energy. The peacock next to the house also maybe people wanting to like reinvent their houses or redecorate, or you may be like, if you're somebody who changes things for seasons, you may be wanting to like change things in and out and brighten it up for the season, or something like that. You may be wanting to start sprucing your shit up to have somebody come over or to have more company this week or to have company in general. So that's part of what you're thinking about this week, like getting your shit together. But there's definitely this energy of showing off who you are and your own individual style and like your quirks and in some cases getting things that like for your house that you like for you. So like I don't know if you um I can't think of something, but it'd be like something that not everybody has, but like you want, it's very individual to you and your likes and the things like that. I just saw a thread earlier about this woman who said that her friend brought her sewing machine over and her friend was working on a project that she was working on. So she pulled her sewing machine out and just worked on a few projects and they just sat there in quiet listen or actually sat there listening to R&B, quietly working on their projects with their sewing machines. And somebody else might be like, that's weird as fuck. But that's what made them feel like they belonged. You know what I mean? That's what made them feel comfortable. That was something that they did in their home together that made them both feel like connected, and like I said, it's something different, it's very individual, it's something that most people wouldn't do, but it was something that was true to them. And so like that feels like the energy. It feels like some of the specific things you'll do this week around your home, around your style, um around yourself, just have to do with you really like showing up in your individual self, or showing your individual style, or like um just really showing up as you in different ways this week, that or other people really showing up as themselves and like imprinting as who they are, right? There may also be things, like I said, that happen you're in your house this week. It may be that your house is more of a communal space. There may be more people coming over. You may want more people to come over this week. And also it may have to do with you actually making changes in your house to make it more inviting, or to like make it more of a space so that you can have company at some point. With the glove and the book, there may be people this week who are learning a new skill or doing something that could bring you more money, or about to get into something that could bring you more money, or opening up to something that could give you money, or like even buying a lottery ticket this week. That could be a winning ticket. That could be part of what comes up as well. Like the glove also gives white glove service kind of energy. And so there may be people who specifically are like attending black tie events, or events, or not even just events, but like dinners, things where there's like more luxury, or it's like, like a more wealthy environment, or you may have like a business event to go to, or you know what I mean, something like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like you are getting dressed up, but it's like a more elite event in a sense, or there may be more elite opportunities that are available to you this week, or that you come across this week. And also with the Janet Frame card, there may be a way in which you're kind of like um separated, or you want to like separate yourself, or you're a little bit isolated this week, where you kind of just want to be with yourself and your own thoughts and your own quirky individualism, and not really deal with other people and what they want to do or what they think, or you know what I mean, you kind of just want to be in your own bubble, and peacock, or read, or like do the things that we kind of talked about, but like within yourself, within your own comfort space this week. That may also be a part of it, or in just in general outside of those things, you may feel like you need to just like retreat and get into your bubble at some point in this week. So these are the things that I'm getting for what specifically may happen this week. Let's wrap your reading up with your words of wisdom for the week. Okay, so your words of wisdom are second chakra, sacral chakra. Reward myself. I know that I am truly worthy and deserve to receive the good things in life, and I give myself permission to have them. It is time to enjoy the fruits of my labors. I aim to incorporate and embrace fun and joy in my life. I realize that all work and no play is a recipe for energy flow disruption and exhaustion. I allow myself to experience and receive more pleasure in my life, and I am flexible and open to change. I am receptive to embracing activities and events that come my way, even those I may have avoided in the past. So that is your words of wisdom, pile 3. And this was your reading for this week. So thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Please tell me how this week is for you. Please let me know how these messages resonate, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, what comes up this week. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. If you aren't already following the channel, follow me here. Follow the podcast, Tiny Musings with T, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Substack, so that you can get all of our monthly collective readings and all of our other episodes. And follow me on TikTok and on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. I appreciate y'all again so much. If you have another pile, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading.